Welcome to The Explainer. I am so incredibly thrilled you're here today because, well, we're diving into something absolutely hilarious. We're looking at the anatomy of viral sports comedy, specifically the unforgettable, side-splitting bloopers from the 2026 FIFA World Cup. You know, we usually think of this tournament as the absolute peak of serious athletic achievement, right? But today, we're looking at the exact opposite. Get ready, because we are breaking down the absolute funniest moments ever captured on the pitch.
Just picture the sheer scale for a second. We're talking an ultra-realistic, Hollywood-level cinematic production. You've got the dramatic lighting, colorful flags waving from every corner, the literally deafening roar of the crowd, and those intense commentators hanging onto every single pass. And honestly, that contrast is what makes this so fascinating. We have this masterpiece of a broadcast setting, a stage literally built for flawless gladiators, and we're going to contrast that perfectly polished atmosphere with the clumsy, unpredictable, and entirely human reality we're about to analyze. So, that brings us to the core question of our explainer today. What actually happens when the world's most elite athletes make the most hilarious mistakes on the biggest global stage possible? Well, over the next few minutes, we're going to follow this fascinating escalation arc. We'll start small, looking at basic player mechanics gone wrong, and then we're going to build all the way up to full, uncontrolled stadium chaos. It's a brilliant reminder that no matter how high the stakes are, gravity and bad luck spare absolutely no one. Number 1. Hilarious on-pitch player fails. Let's get into it. Okay, let's dive into this first category. This is that magical, unscripted moment where core athletic prowess suddenly turns into pure physical comedy. Think about the classic expectation versus reality here. The expectation? A star player scores a spectacular goal followed by this arrogant, over-the-top celebration. But the reality? Oh man, our star player sprints toward the corner flag, slips completely on the grass, and literally takes out his own teammates like bowling pins. One player falls dramatically, another actually loses his boot in the scuffle, and instead of cheering, everyone just bursts out laughing. And because it's broadcast globally, multiple slow-motion camera angles brilliantly capture every single funny, confused facial expression as this majestic celebration goes totally wrong. Now, let's look at another structural breakdown of a fail. I like to call this the corner kick domino effect. So players densely crowd the penalty box, fiercely jockeying for position to head the ball. Standard stuff, right? But then, a slight miscalculation causes an accidental bump, which triggers a completely hilarious chain reaction. One player goes down, which trips the next guy, and suddenly half the team is piled up on the grass. The absolute best part? The referee just stands there looking entirely confused, while the broadcast commentators are laughing uncontrollably on their mics. And this brilliantly illustrates how simple miscalculations create instant disbelief and crowd laughter. Picture this. A player attempts an incredibly athletic bicycle kick. They launch into the air and completely miss the ball. They just spin around and land awkwardly while fans in the front row film the whole thing on their phones. The nearby players are literally biting their lips trying to keep a straight face. Or consider the ultimate chain reaction. A ball pinballing off multiple players' heads in this bizarre sequence before just slowly, agonizingly rolling right into the goal. Everyone is just left standing there entirely confused. Moving right along to Section 2, Premature Goalkeepers' Celebrations. So let's shift our focus slightly away from the outfield players and look at the last line of defense. Goalkeepers require a massive amount of swagger and confidence, right? But when that extreme confidence suddenly backfires on camera, it creates the ultimate viral memes. The expectation here is a routine play. The goalkeeper confidently catches an easy ball, flashes a proud smile, looks completely in control. But the reality? Absolute disaster. He winds up to prepare a quick throw to start a counterattack, but the ball slips and he accidentally launches it directly into his own net. The broadcast gives us this dramatic, cinematic zoom in on the goalkeeper literally freezing in total disbelief. His teammates are staring in utter shock, and the massive crowd absolutely erupts. And the nightmare for goalkeepers doesn't end there. Imagine this scenario. A striker takes a shot, and the goalkeeper celebrates early, completely convinced the ball has missed the target. But wait, the ball hits the post, and he has to painfully watch as it slowly bounces right back into the net behind him. This specific, overconfident reaction, emphasized over and over by multiple slow-motion replays showing the exact moment his heart breaks, cements itself instantly as a legendary internet meme. Which brings us to number 3. Referees, VAR, and cameras. Let's expand our narrative outward a bit now. The incredible irony here is that the officials and the multi-million-dollar technology meant to strictly regulate the game actually end up amplifying the bloopers to an entirely new level. Even the strict rule enforcers are not immune. Picture this. The referee is sprinting across the field to aggressively blow his whistle and stop play. But in his rush, he actually trips directly over the football. He goes flying and performs this completely unexpected acrobatic roll across the grass. The players immediately abandon the game and rush over to check on him. But once they see he's okay, everyone on the pitch just starts laughing. And of course, the broadcast producers make sure the slow-motion replay highlights the absolute funniest angles of his tumble.
The technology itself is a huge character in this comedy. Sometimes the ball is launched directly into a television camera, leaving the screen shaking dramatically before cutting to a very surprised camera operator. But the best? The video assistant referee, or VAR. Imagine the intense suspense of a VAR review. The players are nervously waiting. But instead of a foul, the giant stadium screens repeatedly loop a highly embarrassing, funny replay angle. Or maybe a replay that clearly reveals a player's dramatic, agonizing dive had absolutely zero physical contact. It becomes completely impossible for the referee to maintain his seriousness when 80,000 fans are laughing at the giant screens.
Let's move to Section 4 and see how this builds. Unexpected stars stealing focus. So now we're introducing the external wildcards. When you have a live, unscripted event of this magnitude, sometimes the people who hijack the spotlight aren't even the ones listed on the team sheets. This is perhaps one of the most surreal moments you can witness at a World Cup. Imagine a giant, fluffy team mascot unexpectedly entering the field of play. But they don't just stand there. They start dribbling the ball, and they are actually doing it better than some of the professional players. You have this incredibly wild scene of highly paid elite footballers furiously chasing a dancing, oversized mascot across the pitch. The playful interactions are magic, and the fans are just cheering wildly for the mascot's footwork. And it's not just mascots. Fans and ball boys can completely take over too. A ball boy goes to return the ball, but accidentally breaks out into amazing freestyle football tricks. It is so good that the match momentarily stops. The players look genuinely impressed, and the massive crowd starts chanting the kid's name. Up in the stands, you've got a fan in a giant football costume having a dance-off with rival supporters, or an emotional fan violently spilling their drinks during a passionate celebration. These unscripted, highly relatable moments spread genuine, friendly laughter through the crowd, completely breaking the intense tension of the global stage. Finally, we hit number 5, the ultimate viral montage. We have reached the climax of our explainer. The escalation arc has officially peaked. The structure of the game has dissolved, and we are now looking at pure, fast-paced, chaotic sports entertainment at its absolute finest. It's absolute absurdity. A simple goal celebration turns into an impromptu dance battle. Elite teams completely losing the plot. Players are attempting robotic dances. They're trying to moonwalk on grass. They strike wildly exaggerated victory poses. They try for synchronized celebrations, but of course it yields hilarious results. Players forget the choreography midway through. Teammates bump into each other. What was supposed to look incredibly cool devolves into complete and utter pitch chaos. Imagine watching a high-speed viral compilation. We are talking rapid cuts, epic fails, missed chances, accidental own goals, mascot adventures, referee bloopers, hilarious crowd reactions, and laughing players. The sheer volume of unforgettable comedy moments happening back-to-back creates a masterpiece of football comedy. It is an unstoppable wave of dynamic camera movements, capturing every single ridiculous second.
And how does this all wrap up? With a true Hollywood finale. Fireworks violently explode above the stadium. Golden confetti fills the night air as the crowd cheers deafeningly. You have the most cinematic sports broadcast graphics, dramatic lighting, and it's all captured in stunning, ultra-realistic 4K HDR. The contrast is just magnificent. The broadcast production quality is flawlessly pristine, specifically designed for maximum viral social media impact, but the actual content they're filming is just an incredibly silly reality of laughing players and epic, clumsy fails.
Which brings us to a final question I want to leave you with today. When the golden confetti finally settles on the pitch and the tournament is over, what will we actually remember? Will we remember the perfectly executed spectacular goals? Or will we remember the perfectly human spectacular fails? I think we all know which ones get replayed the most. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. And hey, keep your eyes peeled the next time you watch a match. You never know when the next great blooper is about to happen.